Hi there, James from Gainmore Solutions, and welcome to this video. And today's video we're going to be talking around customer service and how you as a business owner can deliver the most exceptional service to your customers, whether you're providing a product or a service. Now, when it comes to providing service, we all want great service, and great service is memorable, but awful service is a lot more memorable. It's very similar to the analogy: if you have good service, you'll tell one person, but if you have bad service, you'll tell 10. And it has that sort of amplification that causes a real issue for you as a business owner and for your brand, for your company, for your reputation. Now, I wanted to relate this to something I read yesterday, and it's a bit of a difficult situation for the person that I'm going to talk about. But there was an article yesterday about a gentleman who had an online shopping order with Waitrose, and they were due to deliver at a certain time. However, the gentleman in question had big challenges over. He had a 15-year-old dog who was going through a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and they were trying to deal with vets in order to end the pain in that dog and euthanize the dog in the safest and most appropriate manner. And it was a bit of a strange thing in that the only available time the vet had was around the same time as the shopping was due to be delivered. Now, I'm not trying to be blasé about this, but it happens to be what was the story was about. Now, what happened was the gentleman phoned Waitrose and said, look, I've got a situation. You're due to deliver at X time. I'm not going to be here. Still need the shopping. It's a traumatic time for the family because what we're going through. Is there anything that can happen? And a couple of phone calls later, everything was sorted. So they rerouted the driver very, very compassionately, rerouted the driver so the gentleman and his family could focus on dealing with the situation with the dog and ensure that the dog was treated properly. And then obviously the shopping would arrive at a later time. But when the shopping arrived, there was a huge bunch of flowers on that shopping. And the gentleman was presented these flowers, didn't really understand what it was about. And you can probably imagine where this is going. But contacted Waitrose and said, look, I didn't order these flowers. What's gone on? And in there was a card that said, we're really sorry to hear your news. Now, it's a bit of a strange one because what had happened is Waitrose had clearly took this gentleman's position, understood his situation, been very compassionate and sent a bouquet of flowers as a memory, to commiserate with him and to send their condolences. Now, the gentleman could have taken that, done nothing with it, but he didn't. He chose to put it on social media, and it will explode a little bit. But Waitrose probably didn't do that for that reason. They did it to be the good guys. They did it to try and show compassion and to give that extra added value to their customers. And that service will sit with him, and I guess now the amplification of that story to the likes of myself will see Waitrose in a slightly different light. Now, the reason we talk about this in terms of service is when you're delivering your products, your service, or your brand or your messaging to your customers and even your prospects, try and be different and try and think before you engage with that customer, and this should become part of your routine. What does the ultimate service for this customer look like? So it could be a case of taking that customer through the journey of the product that you're making for them. Now, I know a number of really good companies out there who photograph the product being created with the person who created it, so it personalizes it. So when the customer ends up with the product that they've bought, they know that David or John or Mary or Phil or Joan has created that in the warehouse or in the manufacturing plant, and they can see it being made and they can trace that back to that individual person. Now, that might be one way of doing it, but whatever your way of looking at how you engage your customers is, just think about, if you were a customer, what service would make you feel like the person or the company you were buying from delivered you the best service in the world? Think about it. So whatever you're doing today as a business owner, stop just for 5-10 minutes and think about, if I was buying my service, what would make my service the best in the world? Okay, and don't keep this in yourself. Think about your team and involve your team in this. So what would they look for? Would they look for regular communication as to an update on your orders? Would they want it boxed differently? Would they like a little personal message in there? All things that add to the the experience without really adding cost or excessive theatre, but allows the customer to really be engaged with your business, because they will then potentially be aligned to A, repeat buy from you, B, refer you, or C, have this social amplification where they actually refer you on a larger scale, albeit just from a messaging via social media, rather than actually put you in touch with a potential customer. They talk about what a great service they've had from your business to thousands of people on social media. Anyway, that's the video for today, guys. Just remember, if you're delivering customer service as a brand or a service, your customer experience has to be really, really focused on, because that's the difference between you and your competition.